To do it? Or...
No, you have access. You know, you have a co-host. Okay, so you can.
Thank you.
We are glad to have you here and to listen to your experiences. Really, we have a lot of things in common. Your people.
So, what do you know about Lorena? If I may ask you, we know that. Look, we know that. You know, I wish to ask you a question about Arabs in Argentina. I know that Carlos Monem, he was of Syrian origin, Arab origin, as you know.
He was our president, and he passed away 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah. He was 90 years old, and he passed away 2 weeks ago. He was our president for 2 periods in a row. So.
Yeah. He had too much fight with his. He was a handsome, and he had too much fight with his wife, ex-wife.
Yes. It's true. They appear in every magazine about that. It was kind of a scandal.
Yeah, but you know, I think you don't have any members who, you know, who have Arabic translators who translate from Arabic into other languages to Spanish. Do you?
Yeah, we have. Now, when we start, first of all, I will share with you a short video about what in Spanish we call Colegio de Traductores Públicos de la Ciudad de Buenos Aires, which is the association that gathers all the certified translation here in Argentina, for you to understand the differences, because here in Argentina, in order to be a certified translator, you have to go through a 5-year course at university, because we study law, economics, and the language at the same time, because we work for the judicial system as witness experts. So it's one of the only countries that you have to have the university degree to be able to be in this profession, because we have a license, you know, we have a license with a number, and every translation we do, we have to sign and put our seal. And if anything happens, we can be sent to trial or whatever. So it's complicated. It's very different from any other parts of the world. So when we start, I will show you a short video about what our association does, and we have translators in more than 40 languages, including Arab languages.
Oh, that's quite wonderful, really.
Yeah,
it's like sworn translators.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to sworn translators in different parts of the world. That the main difference is that we have a university degree, and we have to study law at the same level of a lawyer. So that's the difference. So that's why we are experts in everything related to legal translators.
That's very nice, really. Yeah. Because all this contributes to receiving or graduating.
Yeah, it's very nice to share. And I told the other day to Amer to write something about your association for our magazine. We have a magazine that is published every 3 months with different subjects. It's a kind of investigation magazine, but this number we wanted to dedicate it to the associations of translators all around the world. So this magazine number will be what is happening around the world with translation. And when it's ready, I will send the link so you can download it, because it's for free. And you can share with your friends, with your other colleagues, and you see not only what is happening in here in Latin America, but also in North America, and in Europe, in Africa, in Oceania. We're gathering all the associations of the world.
Great, and great. You know, I hope we can open, let's say, a new era. You know, we can cooperate together, we and you, for, you know, have some projects together. I hope we can do something together, Lorena.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you are part of the Federal International Translation Committee, the FIT. Are you part of FIT?
No, not yet. You know, if you read the article, my article, you know, the translation scene was so weak, you know, because there is no governmental support. The Arab Spring, or what's so called the revolutions, you know, Arabs are in a very bad critical situation. You know, professionally, psychologically, economically, etc. So we are trying to revive, you know, translation profession in the Arab world. We are doing a great job so far. We are making use of Corona. You know, Corona helped us too much, you know, to gather as Arab translators and linguists.
I guess that if we have to look at a good part of coronavirus, is that it joined us in work, it joined us in projects, and allowed us to do things that maybe we have been putting aside because of other things. And being all the time at home and being all the time in the computer, sharing with your friends, allowed us another picture, you can say.
اوكي جريت. عاشق بتقدر تدخل معها بالسلاح الاسباني يعني تقدر. اوكي.
Buenos días o buenas tardes, no sé qué hora es en Argentina.
En Argentina, las 3 de la tarde.
Sí, encantado de conocerte, encantado de tenerlos aquí en la plataforma de la Asociación de ARTA. Es un honor,
Muchas gracias.
y esperaría que la colaboración, la coordinación también sea dura y quiero decir permanente y fructífera.
Sí.
Yo me gustaría hablar en inglés, pero como no manejo muy bien el acento inglés, estoy obligado a hablar.
El español muy bien.
Sí,
el
hablar
español
con
muy
usted.
bien.
Y olvidado de presentarme. Mustafa Ashik, traductor e intérprete de Marruecos, especialmente de Marrakech ahora, pues porque a causa del COVID-19, obligados a respetar las normas sanitarias.
Sí.
Y doctorando en pragma lingüística, traducción de poesía del poeta chileno Pablo Neruda.
Ah, de Neruda.
Sí, en honor. Las metáforas en Neruda.
Ajá, perfecto.
Perfecto.
Muy buen español, muy
Sí.
buen español.
Gracias. Desde hace 13 años ejercía la traducción, soy traductor autónomo.
Ajá.
Sí. Hice mi máster de traducción en Tánger, en la Escuela Superior Reifat de Traducción, y mi licenciatura en Rabat, en la Universidad de Mohammed V. No sé si usted tiene una idea de la universidad. La
conozco de nombre, pero no sabía que había carrera de lingüística o de traducción.
Sí. Desde 1956, creo.
Ah.
Sí. Es la primera, creo, es la primera. Y un honor, repito, es un honor y espero que la colaboración sea permanente y fructífera. Espero. Es un honor tenerte aquí.
Muchas gracias.
Sí,
Muchas gracias.
A ti igualmente.
Estamos encantados de invitarte y escucharte. Tenemos muchas cosas en común con su gente.
Es verdad.
That's me. I changed it into translation. That's me.
You're using Siri for translation? O Cortana?
I can see some Spanish or Latino translators there also, maybe also from other countries, European or American countries. So they are welcome.
Hello.
To.
Yeah, I see there are a lot
Hello,
of people
everybody.
already. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. All of you.
Hello, how are
Yeah.
you?
Fine. I can see that many people are getting ready for talk about translation and technology. So let's see how we go.
It's time now. Yeah, I think yes. So your translations are qualified in all types and fields of translation?
Yeah, we are specialized in legal translation, but we have then we master in the field that we like.
I mean, not only all other types of translation.
Yeah, we are allowed to do any type of translations because at university we have as well as having law as our main degree, we have specializations inside, like technical, scientific, literary, interpreting. So once you reach the third or fourth year of your university, you decide which way you want to finish, and you can do all, or you can specialize in one. So you can be apart from being a sworn translator, you can be an interpreter, you can be a sworn translation, but with a specialization in technology, in literature, so you can add the specialization you want.
That's fine. Very good. It's very good. That's very nice, really.
We welcome our guests from outside the Arab world, so they can. We wish to talk to them, and we hope they can introduce themselves if they can. So this is an international gathering. Arab translators are very excited and very glad to talk to their counterparts in all countries, of course. أنا هسه بدي أغيب 5 دقيقتين أرجو من قادة القوات المسلحة.
Hi, Lorena.
Hello.
My name is Fatima. In Colorado, United States.
Oh.
Yeah, I have some co-workers that work with me that are from Argentina.
Ah, good.
Welcome
So
to
you
the.
more or less, more or less know how we are.
Yes, you're right.
We are a mixture of every European person who came to build this country. So we are a strange combination of Europe. Yeah, we are a lot of, for example, I told Amer the other day that my family ran away from World War I and from France and came to Argentina. So my relatives are, my grandparents were French. My great-grandparents, sorry.
Do you speak French? Do you speak French?
I understand French because I spoke it when I was little. Then I prepared, I did a course at the Alliance Française here in Buenos Aires. But as I have not practiced it in years, I understand when persons speak to me in French, but it's quite difficult to speak.
No, it's an easy language, actually. They think it's difficult. But
But it's a question of going back in track and practice it. Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. Are you learning any Arabic?
No, not yet. I was postponing some. I had to be doing something else. That job here these 2 years have increased so much because of everybody going online, everybody going
remotely,
digital. So, and I specialize in translation, hardware, software, and technology. So I have been packed with work, and I have only been working. And apart from that, I am, as the title of the presentation says, I am the General Secretary of the Association of Translators. And so we are full of work over there too. And with this pandemic that we have been closed so many months, that translation in Argentina, if you need a short translation, you have to go through the association, and the association certifies your signature. So we have a lot of work there. And the pandemic complicated things a lot because nobody could go out, because nobody could go with a piece of paper and go to another institution. That so it was, last year was complicated. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's nice.
Bueno, hola Lorena, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
¿Qué tal?
Bien, soy profesor Mohamed Hashim de la Facultad de Lenguas, Universidad de Bagdad. Muchas gracias por esta sesión y tenemos el honor hoy porque tú estás con nosotros. De verdad, yo muy interesante por la literatura de latinoamericana y tengo muchos artículos sobre la literatura de América Latina, especialmente Jorge Borges, el escritor argentino. Por eso doy las gracias a usted por esta sesión. Muchas gracias.
No, muchas gracias a ustedes por estar. Hablan muy bien español. You speak very good Spanish.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
So whenever you tell me, we can start. So do you think we should wait some more minutes or what do we?
Yeah, please, let's wait just 5 minutes.
Okay,
Usually
perfect.
the internet is not good in the Arab world, you know, in
Okay.
general. So let's wait until 5-6 minutes, please.
Okay.
And if anybody who speaks Spanish would like to speak, don't hesitate. Okay,
If you want to practice your Spanish with me, go ahead.
I was married to a Chicana one day in the US, so
Oh.
Mexican. I have a daughter there in the US, so I know some Spanish words. They say that how many, okay, if I may
Yes.
ask Mustafa or Dr. Muhammad Hashim, how many words in Spanish they are of Arabic origin? Some people, they say they...
A lot.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Even locations and the cities and valleys are named
Yes.
Arabic.
Yes,
Wadi
yes,
al-Kabir,
yes.
Wadi al-Ijara, Wadi al-Hijara, Wadi al-Kabir. You see? Tarifa.
Camisa, pantalona.
Gibraltar.
Sí, hay muchas palabras españolas de origen árabes.
Sí,
Porque
muchísimas.
como sabemos, los árabes viven en España 8 siglos.
Sí.
Words,
Sí,
verbs,
sí, usamos
adjectives.
muchísimas palabras. Palabras
muchísimas.
comunes de todos los días, por ejemplo,
Sí.
no sé, azúcar, algodón,
Algodón,
sí,
camisa.
camisa,
al
tal cual,
café,
muchísimas.
al café,
Almacén,
sí.
muchísimas.
Muchísimas palabras. Porque la civilización árabe está muy grande en España.
Yeah.
Sí, sí.
What is more
Sí,
interesting is
yo tuve, I would say that in English so everybody could understand. I was, when I was in Spain, I went specifically to the places like Granada, Sevilla, Toledo, a lot of places that are based on the Arab culture. And it's wonderful to see that.
Yeah. What's more interesting is that many English words are derived from Spanish, which was derived from Arabic. For example, apricot is from Spanish.
Yeah.
You see? Marble from marble. Marmorian, and thousands of words, really. Yeah.
You know, languages, they interact. I mean, language is a live creature, I think, you know. So when you are very powerful, you can influence other languages. When you are weak, you are being influenced by other languages. For example, English now is dominant, you know, in all countries because it's the language of science, economy, diplomacy, military, etc. So المهم احكوا مع درجة وهي دخلت. How are you, Laura? Laura Dominguez.
You're mute, Laura.
Hello to everyone.
How are you? Where are you from?
Barcelona, Spain.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
I think I'm the only Spanish in the group for the moment.
No, there are many non-Arabs. I have seen many, but I don't know where are they from.
Okay.
This is Mariana Zolari Vargas. I don't know. She's joining now, but there are maybe, you know, tens of non-Arab. I don't know.
Okay.
Where are they from, you know, whether they are.
Hola Mariana, ¿qué tal?
You can speak in Spanish, and.
Hola Mariana, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
She's not listening, I guess. Laura.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Estudiaste en alguna universidad de Barcelona?
Sí, yo estudié traducción e interpretación en la Universidad Pompeu Fabra.
Ah, entonces debes conocer a Patrick Zabalbascoa.
Sí,
obviamente.
hombre, por supuesto.
Muy bien, muy bien.
¿Quién no conoce a Patrick Zabalbascoa?
Porque
claro.
Patrick es así como un invitado de la casa siempre acá en Argentina.
Sí, fue mi profesor en traducción audiovisual, un encanto.
Bueno, nosotros estamos muy en contacto con Patrick, con José Castro Roy,
bueno, claro.
Con Jorge Díaz Cintas, aunque él esté en Inglaterra, con Fred Chaume, O sea, hemos trabajado mucho en conjunto con ellos.
Qué bien. Yo además soy miembro de ASETRAD también, entonces
Muy
estamos
bien, muy bien.
Sí, sí, sí.
Y las nuevas camadas, como Rafael López Sánchez, como Pablo Muñoz, o sea,
Claro.
son como los alumnos ya.
Sí, exacto, nuevas generaciones, sí.
¿Crees que es hora de empezar?
Okay, as you wish, when you tell me.
Okay, I think we can start now.
Okay.
Okay, let me first welcome you all and welcome Mrs. Lorena Roque, the director of the Association of Certified Translators of the City of Buenos Aires. She is the secretary of this association. If I may introduce her, she is a sworn English translator and English teacher, graduated from the Pontificia Universidad Católica Argentina, Pontifical Catholic University of Argentina. She works as a free translator and interpreter in her company T&I Perio de Traducción y Interpretación, I don't know. Her expertise is legal translation, software translation, and localization, and topics related to technology, marketing, and electronic and mechanical engineering. Besides, she works as a court interpreter and conference interpreter. She is currently professor of computing tools and science for translators in the legal translation postgraduate course at the Association of Certified Translators of the City of Buenos Aires, and professor of the workshop on computer science applied to translation at the Universidad del Museo Social Argentino. She is a former professor of computer assisted translation in the sworn translation degree course at the CAECE University of Mar del Plata.
Mar del Plata, it's a city near Buenos Aires.
Okay, and ex-professor of computing resources for translators in the business translation postgraduate course at the Pontificia Universidad Católica Argentina. She has also provided numerous training on professional marketing, quality control processes, IT tools for translators, and computer-assisted translation tools at various national and international institutions. She was a member of the executive committee and the organizing committee and a speaker at the 6 Latin American Congress of Translators and Interpreting, which brought together more than 1,500 attendees. She is organizer and speaker at the National Encounter of Translation Students and at the Future of Technology and Audio-Visual Arts, among others. She has written countless notes, articles, research for several magazines, such as the prestigious Revista del CTP.
This is the magazine from the Colegio de Traductores Públicos de la Ciudad de Buenos Aires.
Okay, her institutional career began in 2012, and until 2014, she served as a member of the Ethics Enforcement Board of the Association of Certified Translators of the City of Buenos Aires. From 2014 to 2018, she was member of the board of the Association of Certified Translators of the City of Buenos Aires. As Secretary of Minutes and Registration, she is currently member of the board of the Association of Certified Translators of the City of Buenos Aires as General Secretary, and is in charge of the Committee of Technical Scientific Specialization, Technological Resources, Junior Translators, Audio, Visual Arts, and German Language. We are glad to have you here today. Lorena, the floor is yours. You are welcome.
Many thanks for the invitation. Welcome everybody. Hope this will be useful. And as I talked to Amer before doing this, I would like to show you a very short video first for you to know where I am from and in what is our association, so you can have a much bigger idea of what we do. And then we will start directly with the presentation. And I would recommend, I don't know if you agree with me, that
she is muted. Mr. Amr.
Yes, I muted all because please, nobody makes any noise. Okay, go ahead, Lorena. I ask you to unmute, please.
She is still muted, yeah, Mr. Amr.
Just a second. Hello, Lorena. Please unmute yourself. Just a second. Nobody hears you.
Yeah, there. Because what I meant was I would like you to have your microphones mute, as you said, so we cannot make noise in the middle. And if you need anything in the middle of the presentation, or raise your hand or make a question over the chat. If not, we can save all the questions to the end, and we will chat at the end about everything related to the presentation. So I guess this would be the best idea. What I need you to tell me is if when I play the video, you can hear what the video is on. Because sometimes, I don't know how the Zoom is set, that you have to admit video from another computer. So I will play the video and I will share the screen with you. So you tell me if you can see, if you can hear the video, right?
No voice.
Would you hear something?
No sound.
No, this is what I am trying to see if you can hear, because if not, we have to press something. We will have to do something with the audio to see. I would see if I put audio from the computer.
Share sound.
Prince William on a visit.
Lorena, creo que decían que tiene que haber una opción para compartir el sonido también.
Yes, Miss Lorena, you can send it to Mr. Amr, for example, and he can share it.
No, I cannot, if she can, okay, send it to me. I will send it to you, Shawkia. I don't know how,
Yes.
I don't know if it can make a difference.
She
Yes,
can just take the audio in order for the audio to come out. When you share the video or anything, you can take the audio down there in the share options.
Take your time, just relax, Lorena, don't worry.
When you reshare it again, you can tick the audio. You can notice it down.
Yeah, it was a question of it was
Excellent,
a question of
excellent.
configuration. Well, let's go. Here we go.
El lenguaje es la mejor forma de transmitir nuestros pensamientos, expresar lo que sentimos y relacionarnos con los demás. En tiempos de globalización, a veces necesitamos de un profesional que traduzca esas palabras para acercarnos a los otros, a quienes no comparten nuestro idioma, pero pueden ser parte de nuestros sueños y proyectos. Nos proyectamos en el comercio, en las industrias, en la educación. Nos proyectamos hacia el mundo. En 1973 se creó el Colegio de Traductores Públicos de la Ciudad de Buenos Aires, el Consejo Profesional Autónomo que nuclea a los traductores públicos. Esta institución otorga y administra la matrícula profesional. Certifica la firma y el sello del traductor interviniente. Promueve, difunde y representa la tarea del traductor público. Establece las normas de la ética profesional. Fiscaliza el estricto cumplimiento de la profesión. Organiza cursos y actividades para la permanente capacitación de los matriculados. Y eleva al Poder Judicial la nómina de los traductores inscriptos como peritos auxiliares de la justicia. Además, el colegio brinda espacios al matriculado para desarrollar sus intereses. El centro de formación para traductores profesionales más importante de América Latina. Tiene una de las bibliotecas especializadas más completas del mundo. Fondo editorial propio. Beneficios para los matriculados en becas y subsidios. Actividades culturales y recreativas abiertas a la comunidad. Escuela de posgrado. Solidaridad para matriculados y para la comunidad. También, a través de sus comisiones, los matriculados contribuyen con la vida institucional del colegio. Actualmente, nuestro colegio es miembro institucional de prestigiosas organizaciones nacionales e internacionales. Vivimos en un entorno hiperconectado, donde las palabras pueden cambiar el mundo. En el CTP-CBA respaldamos a quienes pueden traducir para que los sueños se realicen, para que las personas puedan crecer en sus proyectos, para que puedan compartir sus hallazgos, para acercar las distancias entre culturas diferentes. Traducimos para que el mundo se vuelva más comprensivo. Traducimos para que no existan límites.
Well, this is us. This is our association. It's a small thing for you to understand what we are. We are an association of almost 9,000 translators in 40 different languages. So we are huge. We are the biggest in Latin America. And so it's a pleasure for me to share this with you and to be talking about technology just in a moment. So are you ready? Do you have connection, right? Because before starting, I want to make a small game with you. Let's see if you can follow me. Oh, wait. I will put the reduce share screen. If you want to go.
Shawkiya, please, mute everybody or remove him. Anybody who makes any noise, please.
Of course.
Do this, do this. So, if anybody wants to be in touch with me, here you have everything where you can find me. This is my mail. This is my Instagram, this is my Facebook, this is my Twitter. And so here you can find me, we can chat, we can share things related to translation, or even nice pictures of cats as everybody does in the social network. So these are the communications you can find if you want to talk to me. And before starting or before doing anything related to technology, what I would like to know is, how are you regarding technology? Are you a fan of technology? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What about you? And the best way for me to know what kind of audience I have here today regarding technology is if you can go into this site, www.menti.com. If you can go there, please, if you are willing to do it, and you will reach a survey that I made. In order to start the survey, you need to enter this code. Yeah, you go to www.menti.com. You enter this code, and you will be able to answer this question. And whenever people are answering the question, we will see here, we will see here how many of you like it, how many of you like it a lot, how many of you hate it, how many of you don't care about technology? So if you please can go to that site, we will see what about you and technology. So far, we have only one person answer. So it would be nice if someone else can answer. You can enter from your phone. You can enter from wherever you want. As long as you put this code, you will be able to answer the inquiry, right? So we are, many people like it. Quite a lot cannot live without it.
There's an option.
Yeah. Sorry?
Lorena, can I say something?
Yeah.
There's an option missing for me. I would say,
yeah.
I don't really like it, but I have to use them.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's true. Mm-hmm. So, well, and then what you do not, some people do not like it at all. Okay. Well, it was that. Well, I needed to know how was the group I was going to be dealing with today. And this is one part of the question I would like to know. You can see that I like it and I use it every day is the greatest part of people answering. But then after this, I have another question for you. And let's see if you can answer the other one. You don't have to do anything, but the only thing you have to do is to think and write the first words that come to your mind when you think of technology and translation. And let's see what are the words that come first to your mind. Okay. My goodness, a lot of things. Tattoos is the start so far. Good. Very good. So, complicated. Do you think it's complicated? Okay. So we have a lot of words. Very good. Very good. So, well, now that more or less I know you, I know that half of you love it, and kind of you have to use it even though that you don't love it, and some of you hate it. But well, I hope that after today, I can persuade some of you that don't like it, that you have to like it, or at least use it. Even though you do not like it, like Laura, I guess it was what you said, right? She was saying that I don't like it, but I have to use it. So, okay, thank you very much for answering this, this survey. Let's go back to the presentation. And we will do this. Oh, I will do this so I can see your questions if you post me something in the chat. So, do you see the presentation? Okay. Well, first of all, we will be talking about the evolution. Amir, do you know how you can do that this does not appear in my because if not, it will constantly block the presentation. I don't know if we can move it or do it put it somewhere. So we will be talking about evolution. We will be talking about a little bit of hardware for us translators. We have this software. We will talk about resources, and we will talk, of course, about recycling our devices, right? So first of all, we will start dealing a little bit with technology evolution. because as you know, not everybody started working with technology. We have to come from the 1.0 internet and the 1.0 industry in technology to what is going to come into the future. So first of all, we can say that the internet, or the WWW, World Wide Web, is the largest information construct, yeah, and it has progressed so much. And this image, what you can see, will provide us a background of the evolution of the 4 generations already that we have for internet in general. Yes, the first one was known as the web of information and connection. The second web was known as people connection, and the third web was known as knowledge collection. Yeah, so we will see a bit of everything. This is the most boring part, but it is what we have to know to understand why now we can interact with applications in our everyday life and why we have sometimes depend on technology, right? So first of all, you have to know that the first one appeared in 1989 formally, and its evolution was until 205. As I told you, it was defined as the information connection. It was considered read-only because it provided very little information and interaction with the consumer of the people that were getting into or wanted to interact with the website. Yes, and the first one was filled with static pages and content. We can say that it was only for searching information and reading it. Yet little by little, we as consumers of that internet started asking more. So the second generation appeared in 204, more or less. And that technology allowed us assembling and managing large parts of common interest and social interaction. Yes, that's why it was called the relationship technology, right? Because it started to appear the social digital technology. The people was the centric, but at the same time, it was allowed to write, to read, yes, and technology started to be bi-directional. We can go to the web and the web can provide us with something, yes? It started to support collaboration among people. But suddenly this was not enough either. So we needed a little more, and Web 3.0 appeared, yeah? And this was the modern evolution because it was the executable web. The basic idea of this web was to be linked with applications and with people at the same time. That's why it's known as the semantic way. Yes, it's a system that allows machines to understand what I want, so the machine can answer to what I am asking the machine, right? As here you can see, it was like a baby. Yeah, first you have to crawl, then you have to walk to finally start running. But modern society was not enough 3.0. They decided that we needed something else, that we needed something more. Yes, and that's why, and that's more, was the Web 4.0, where it is considered the mobile web, because the interaction started spreading all over, not only in your computer, but in your telephone, your tablet, any device you have at home. So that's what it was called the mobile web. The interaction between humans and machines started connecting devices in the real and the virtual world at the same time. So it starts expanding. And as here it says the future, the last part is starting, it's already starting. It's called Web 5.0. We have not arrived there yet, but we are going towards it. And it will be called the emotional web, because what they are trying to get is that the emotional and perceptions of the humans can be understood by machines in such a way that, for example, if I have my headphones on and I will, and sometimes the headphone Or if I have a special mask and in my mask I change or I move in a specific way, the machine will be able to detect if I am sad, if I am happy, if I am mad. So this is the web that is coming. That's why it says from the web of things to the web of thoughts. Yeah, we will change the internet of the things that is happening right now to the internet of the thoughts. It's not going to be now. It's going to take a lot of time, but it's the direction to where technology is going, right? So saying this and knowing that this is what's happening in our world, in our technology world, let's go move forward what technology means for translators per se, right? So first of all, we will talk about hardware. What hardware we need to work properly at home. And when I say hardware, I do not mean only the computer. I make a lot, for me, hardware means a lot more than my computer. That's why I talk about ergonomic and productivity, because hardware allows me, yes, to be more productive. Ergonomics, as everybody knows, is the science of designing your workstation, the place where you're working, to fit the capabilities and limitations, yes, of the worker that is going to be sitting in a space. The goal is to have our office as ergonomic as possible, to be able to be comfortable, to have an environment free of noise, free of things that can bother me, so I can reduce my production in work due to the environment. So it also will reduce fatigue and discomfort, because if you are tired and if you do not feel comfort in a place where you are, your work will not be productive, right? So you have to be clear about production, because production is the amount of work that you can accomplish in the unit of time that you establish, yes? And that factors of production for your business involves labor that you put, the capital because you have to invest, technology that you have to learn, and your business at the you can say as a whole, right? So without ergonomy, you do not have production. So regarding ergonomy per se, you can say that you have to be very aware about these things. I don't know if you pay attention to these things when you work. That, for example, you should pay very much attention where you place your monitor. It has to be in front of you with the top no higher than your eye level. You have to avoid the strain, making your monitor is too close to your face. You have to, it says that you have to have an arm's, can you see my arm? An arm's length between you and your monitor. And it says that it shouldn't be near a very glowing window or something, because the bright can block your eyes. And if you sit a lot of time in front of your monitor, what it should be best is from time to time to set your side apart and then come back, because this will be better for your eyes, not to be all the time looking at the monitor. Something that is extremely important also is your keyboard and your mouse, because they should be at an easy reach, yes, in the same surface of your keyboard, both of them. So you have your wrist, yes, straight. Your upper arms should be placed in a comfortable place, because if you do not do that, suddenly you will start having problems in your shoulders. You will not be able to type. And remember, our body, our hands are our instrument of work. So we have to be comfortable, right? And the chair, it's very, very important where you put all your body to work. You have to have a comfortable chair, a chair that can adjust the height, yes, so your feet are not hanging, yes, like when you are a child and sit in a very tall chair, where you can put your arms and rest your arms, yes, So be careful when choosing a chair for work. Another thing that is very important, especially this year, we have learned that we have to live through the internet. We have to live through Zoom, do all our meetings through Zoom or any other applications such as Google Meet, for example, and that a pair of headsets is extremely important. Yes, because if you can answer a phone call, you can chat with your friends, you can have a meeting. But if you do not have a very comfortable pair of headsets that, for example, like mine, that I have the microphone here, that I have the headphones, it's very difficult to hear because people can hear noises coming from outside. You cannot hear properly to the person you are talking to. So that is very, very important. And last but not least is the footrest. If you are a person of a certain height, like me, for example, I am a short person because I am 1 meter 56 centimeters. Sometimes your chair is too tall and your feet hangs like this. That's not good because, again, your body needs to be in a perfect position so you can be comfortable. So if you feel that you're not reaching the floor properly, I recommend you to put a footrest. This would be something very, very special because your legs will be relaxed and you will feel relaxed. Yeah, and if you cannot afford a footrest, don't worry. Pack magazine, book, something, put a box and place your feet over it, and you will see how this will make the difference for you sitting. Yeah. So I am okay. So again, let's go to productivity. I was checking the chat if somebody was asking me about something about that. So production. Let's see. The first thing you have to know is what do you choose? Windows or Mac environment? This is your choice. You can rely on Windows environment. You can rely on Mac environment. But no matter what you rely, the first decision you have to make is, do you prefer a notebook or do you prefer a desktop? Yes? Because you have to look into the screen size. You have to look at the cost, the storage space, the portability, and many other things. Yeah, for example, you can have the screens under 12, a screen between 12 and 14, a screen between 15 and 17, or if you're choosing a larger one, directly we can go to a desktop. Yeah, no matter what you choose, it's a question of your choice, of course. For example, I tell you what I do. I have a notebook and I use it as it was my CPU, but at the same time, I have a screen and another monitor. I have my keyboard and my mouse. Everything is wireless. So I have not have to fight against those cables rolling and crawling. Yeah. So everything you can see here is my wireless keyboard. Here is my wireless mouse. So everything for me is wireless. So that's the best way for me to work. And in that way, I can have two screens. So I can be sharing something in one screen and then sharing something in another screen. And for me, it's easier. Yeah. So, but as I told you, no matter what you choose, you have to choose something that it works for you. Yeah, not for what another person says. Yes. So after you choose that, you have to decide what your CPU processor will be like. How many operations will you be doing in your computer? Because this will be the center of your computer. This will be the brain of your computer. So you have to choose if you're going to go for the iCore from Intel, or if you're going to go for the Ryzen, that are the AMD. Because they are different, they work perfectly fine. That both of them are the more powerful and updated. And of course, the fastest you get it, the fastest you complete your task. Yeah, of course. So another thing you have to know is the difference if your computer or if your network is going to have a solid drive or a hard drive. Generally, hard drives are cheaper and solid ones are a little more expensive, but solid are faster. And hard drives have many problems that solid do not have. So generally, nowadays, the majority of the computer are coming directly with a solid drive. And remember that, and again, both of them work perfectly. It's a question of your choice, and it's a question of your budget, right? So for example, here you have the main differences. The hard is cheaper, but it's slower, it's less durable. You can have a higher capacity, and it uses more energy. While the solid is more expensive, while it's faster, it's more durable, but it can handle only 4 terabytes of information, and it uses less energy. So you have the pros and the cons of whatever you are gonna choose. On the other side, you have what it's called the random access memory, the RAM. Do you know what is the RAM? And if the more you have, as I said, the more RAM computer have, the more data you can juggle with. And think of a RAM as a workspace, as a giant workbench. Yeah, it's obviously easier to work in a giant workbench than to try to work in a small tray. So the higher, the better. But of course, the higher, the more expensive. So again, you have to try to see what your capacity in money and what your capacity in using technology will be enough. Yes. I guess there is somebody writing the presentation. I can see here the lines.
Just a second, please. Shawqiya, who's making this mess, please? Just a second, please.
I cannot see who is this, but please, don't write here in the screen, please.
I removed her already, Mr. Abid, no problem.
Okay, if you need the presentation, if you need the presentation, I can send it to you. So don't worry, you will have the whole presentation for you. I have no problem to send the information and to send the presentation. So then you can write, you can do whatever to the presentation. So, but so far no, because if something is written, we will these lines will block what you can read, right?
Okay, so, please remove anybody who makes any mess here, please.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We were talking about RAMs. So as I told you, then you have to choose up to which RAM you're willing to use. Yes. So finally, regarding our computer, we can talk about the video. Yeah, the video card, the graphic card. The graphic card is the responsible for rendering images in our display. So you have to see what your job will be about to see if you need a maximum screen clarity. For example, if you are working with subtitles, if you are looking at movies, or if you like video games, for example, you need to have the latest graphic card. And for example, you can see here that at a glance, which is the manufacturer, more or less the capacity, the memory, and everything in the comparison between the GeForce that is from NVIDIA and the Radeon that is from AMD. So these are the basic things you have to consider whenever you're going to buy either a notebook or a PC. Yeah. Here somebody says, I have an opportunity to use both systems and each have their strength and weakness, of course. And that's right. This is a very good mention here is that if you're going to decide to work with CAD tools, sometimes Mac is not the best option, sadly, because it does not handle, for example, travels, or it does not handle many tools that translation use, unless you know how to use another software called Parallel, or if you have to partitionate your disk and use half as a Mac, have as a window environment. So thanks for the comment. It's true. It's true. Well, going forward, this is regarding what you have to know about, in general, about what you have inside. Yes, inside. Now, let's see what you have to have outside. Yes. Peripherals. You know what they are? They are refers to the auxiliary devices. Yes. Every hardware you have besides your computer. For example, yes, you can have a tablet attached to your computer. You can have, I don't know, a hub to plug more USB ports or more ports if you need something, if you manage too many USB connections in a computer and you do not have enough ports. Then you can have, for example, a camera. Then you can have, for example, the famous all-in-one where you can print, scan, or whatever. You can even have speakers, or why not, you can have your Siri, or you can have your Cortana, or whatever system you have to make your computer do something for you. So peripherals are very important because they increase the essential basics of the computer. Yes, they increase the basic task, and they enhance your experience as users. Yes, it's not an obligation to have these devices, but sometimes they are very practical and add a lot of capability. Yes. So, I guess, do you think that maybe I can, if you want to delete all the things, I see that you are talking in the chat. Do you want me to unshare the presentation and share it again to see if these disappear? Do you want? Let's see if it works.
I think if the co-host can go to the whiteboard and he can use the eraser, he can delete everything.
Okay, but I will put the presentation again.
You have to, you just, go on, it's okay, be with the,
Okay.
We can see your presentation. Don't worry about this miserable person, just go on.
Okay, but it worked. If you look at this, everything is erased now. So let's go ahead. So we were talking about peripherals. So let's move from hardware to software. And let's see how many of this you use. First of all, it's the typical that whenever we are working with files that are sometimes very heavy, that cannot be only sent by mail because they are a lot in megas or gigas. When we handle big projects, we handle a lot of presentations or videos if we are dealing with the subtitle industry. So what we have to know is that we have to be at hand with FTPs. Yes, do you know what is FTP? Is the file transfer protocol that allows you to move files all over the internet. These protocols can be used online or can be used as clients installed inside your computer. Yes, they were specified for keeping the confidence of some things if it is a software of your property. And you have to be careful if you are using free clients, because sometimes you are passing information that is confidential, and once in the cloud, always in the cloud, as they say. So here what I brought was for you apps, sorry, to compare the different ones that you have. You can have different names, file data type with that file FTP or whatever. You can see the year of release. You can see what's the manufacturer. You can see for which environment you can use it. And here you can see if it is you have to pay or if it is for free. So then when you have the presentation, I will send it to you. You can compare, choose, you can go over the internet and make a more good comparison to see which one works for you. On the other hand, Yeah, the cloud can also be used for this. And the cloud, I don't know what you work with in the cloud, but generally it's the fastest spread technology now we use the cloud. Yes, it's the word of the cloud computer. And it gives you free and paid applications to use it. And you have a lot of providers that can give you access to the cloud. And for example, one that is very common and very used is WeTransfer. WeTransfer can be free up to, I guess it was 2 gigas. So you can transfer things up to 2 gigas. And then you have to create an account in WeTransfer and you can work online. Or you can have your Google Drive, you can have your iCloud, or you can have Dropbox. Again, it's a question of choosing. It's a question of making an evaluation of how big are your files, or how many files do you want to transfer or receive. And based on that, you can choose if you are going to go for this for free, or if you're going to choose to pay for this subscription. But you can use them for free and paying. So again, it's your choice after making an evaluation of what is good for you. Yes? Then, as translators, we have to know that we have to know more file types than the common office environment, because sometimes projects are starting to come in different file types. First of all, of course, everybody should know WinZip, WinRAR, in order to compress or decompress the files that are sent to us. Yes, and of course, we have to deal with the typical Word, PowerPoint, and Excel files. But there is a million types of files there that you can find. For example, if you are willing to work with images, or if you're willing to work in the industry of marketing, in the industry of manuals and everything, you have to know a lot about PDF. You have to know a lot about programs such as Illustrator, or programs such as Photoshop, yes, because you are going to be dealing with pictures, with images. If you're dealing with web pages or software localizations, you can go with HTML, you can go with CSS, you can go with a lot of types, PHP, GS. You have a lot of types of files that you have to know the extension. The extension is what you have up to the point. You see that you put a name, then you have a dot, and then you have docx, for example, meaning this docx belongs to a Word document. Well, you have to know there is more than things in an office environment, because the more you know, the more complex jobs you can take, and the more complex jobs you can offer, and the more offers that come to you. So again, the more you know, the more work you will receive. So it's basic that every translation be in touch with different types of files that you can have, right? So another thing that I mentioned was the PDF. So PDF is something that sometimes makes our life easier and sometimes makes our life more complicated. Because when the PDF comes in a way that we cannot touch it, that it's an image or whatever, we say, what can we do with this? I cannot touch it. I cannot pick up a phrase from my PDF. The PDF is untouchable. Yeah, so this is simple. You need to know an OCR tool. The OCR tool is the optical character recognition tool. It's a technology that recognizes what the text inside the images are, for example, in a scanned documents or in photos, yes? And what the OCR technology uses is a technology that virtually converts, yes, the images contained in a written text, whether typed, whether handwritten, or whether print, and try to put it into a machine readable text. So in that way, you can use something that was not editable in an editable way. The common ones And the easiest ones to find over the internet are, for example, Samsar. I love PDF that has many, many functions. Both of them are for free, yeah? Then you can find Avify Reader, Infix with TransPDF, Adobe Pro DC. These are paid, yes, these are paid. You have to pay for using this, even though you can download a demo and try them to see if you like them. And a small PDF is also another option. Of course, there are many, many more. These are the ones that I generally tried and that I discovered that they are very useful. I am looking at the chat to see if somebody is asking me. Okay. So whenever you manage and whenever you have PDF, be sure that you need to know this type of all of these are free to download. Yeah, to download, they are all free. For example, I love PDF, small PDF, and some are online. Yes, you do not need to download anything to your machine, and you can use them online for free. But Avify Reader, Adobe Pro DC, Infix 7, and TransPDF, you have to download a software to your computer. You can use the demo for at least 30 days, I guess, and then you have to pay if you want to use it. Yes, that's the difference. These three are online. These three are software that you have to install in your computer. So you know how to transfer your files. You know what type of files they are. If you find an OCR and you know now you know how to convert something that it was not editable to something editable. Now you have to know about CAD tools. I saw that the association was giving courses about CAD tools. I don't know which CAD tools you handle, but I think that the CAD tool, that it means computer assisted translation, that has nothing to do with machine translation. Please don't confuse them. Okay, thank you, Laura. Yes, that's true. You shouldn't use online tools if you are doing things that are confidential, because it's, as I told you, once in the cloud, always in the cloud. So be careful with what you put on the cloud. Coming back to CAD tools, I'd say for me, I don't know for the rest, they are something I cannot live without. It's something that I use every day, especially I work with Trados, SDL Trados, but there are many. And they are used to produce language translation faster for me with less effort. You can access to different things that you have done before, and what it says: translate once, reuse often. Yes, this is the concept of CAD tools. Why? Because the translation process become more efficient. But as I told you, it has nothing to do with machine translation, because humans are still required to produce the translation or edit bad quality translation, to translate once and reuse often. So if you want to try, for example, this one that is the Omega T is for free. You can download it and use it. MemSource is online, so again, be careful what you put inside MemSource. Then you have, for example, XPM Cloud, or you have the typical SDL Cloud Studio. You can have WordFast, you can have Memo. So whatever you choose, you can choose any of them are good. The difference is in taste. Some of my friends prefer WordPress, some of my friends prefer MemoQ. I love SDL Trados. I am a fan of that. I am a certified capacitor or trainee for Trados, so imagine that I like it. So, okay, in Costa Rica, we provide official certified translations that are legally and digitally signed, that are provided only in a particular PDF file. Okay. Here in Argentina, we do the same. We can sign our legal translations, meaning what you say, the real sign, you pick up a pen and you sign, or you can use also the digitally sign because it's already allowed. We have a law about that. And again, you have to handle that over a PDF that it's not for free because of confidentiality. Okay. What is the most efficient software? Subtitle. Then we go to subtitle. Don't worry. Here we are in capsule. Then we go to subtitle. Well, if you want to know, for me, the 5 reasons why to use a capsule is because they help to produce high quality translations. They keep coherent. They improve your productivity. They save your costs because they reduce the amount of time and effort that you're going to need to produce translation. And of course, they provide whatever is called the ROI. I don't know if you know the meaning, the return on investment. You invest in your software, but the software will return you in a compensation for handling more jobs easier and faster. Yes? Okay, we just finished the course on tech tools with 99 participants. Yeah, I saw the photo. That's why it's that. That's very nice. Which tool did you went through? Did you use one tool in particular or all of them?
We just finished, as I said, a course on CAT tools with 92 participants. You can see the, the photo or the picture of all participants and their. But Dr. Abu Siam, he may answer you. Abu Siam, are you there? Who has taken part in this course? So you can answer Lorena's question.
Okay, the record will be on our Facebook page.
I did. I did finish it recently. It was a very, very beneficial one. We concentrated on MemoQ, Trados, and many, many other applications. It was really, really something so special.
Very good.
I'm a specialist in translation. I have an MA in translation.
This is a unique course in the Arab world, by the way.
This is what I actually wanted to emphasize on. Although I have an MA in translation, but all of the programs we've taken are so unique and so beneficial, actually.
Okay, perfect. So you can see that capsules are very important and people care about learning capsules. So if you still don't use a capsule, I recommend them, right? So after translated things in a capsule or in another environment, what you have to be sure is you have QA tools. What are the QA tools? The linguistic quality control tools. Yes, because what they are gonna do is they are going to help you fine-tuning the final translation product. They are helping you to assure that there are no flaws, that there are not linguistic failures in the process, yes? That everything you have done has been successfully performed. So it helps you resolve inconsistencies, it helps you resolve misspellings, mismatching, because there is something that I say that a poor translation can have an immediate and disastrous impact, yes, in your product and in the name of your brand or yourself. So always, always, always assure that you have at hand some QA tool, being bilingual or monolingual, yeah? What I mean bilingual is a kind of tool that helps you check machine detectable errors that comes from a CAT tool. Yes? Because when you use a CAT tool, you produce bilingual files. And monolingual QA tools are those tools that only correct grammatical mistakes in your language or in the language you are going to provide a translation. Yes? That's the difference between a bilingual QA tool and a monolingual QA tool. So inside the CAT tools, such as Trados, such as MemoQ or WordPass, you have bilingual QA tools, but also you can have some of them that will help you deal with some errors outside the tool. And for example, if we talk about correcting monolingual stuff, in Spanish, the most common one is stylus or ABC corrector. Yes, in English, you have the white smoke, the Grammarly, or paper writer. These are very good tools. For example, stylus, you can use it online, or you can use a plugin inside your computer to check all. And it does not only correct spelling mistakes, it corrects everything because it's related to dictionaries and it's related to, for those who are translating in Spanish, it's related to the dictionary of Real Academia Española, Manuel Seco, La Fundeu, Hispánico de Dudas, all Spanish dictionaries that are like the main book for us, yes? On the other hand, if you are translated to English, you can have Grammarly that is based on UK English, British English, or White Smoke that is based like paper writer on American English. All of these are very good tools. Some of them are for free. Some of them are for example, you can use paper writer online, and I don't remember if the other ones can be, no. The other ones cannot be used online, only stylus and paper writer, but you can try them. If you download them to your computer, you can have the demo, at least to see how they work. And then you make the evaluation to see which one you can buy. And on the other hand, as I told you, the bilingual ones, the main one for me is Xbench. Xbench is a tool that for me is incredible. It helps me detect, for example, if I have made, if I have repeated a word, if I have left 2 spaces in one place, if I made a mistake in the numbers. It's a tool that is very, very good. And if you go for the version 2.9, it's for free. After that version, the version 3 forward, yeah, that versions are paid. But if you go to download the version of Xbench 2.9, it's still free. So you can try and you can see that it's very, very useful. Another thing is Verifica, and another thing is Aceproof. They are very good tools. They are similar to this. And finally, you have QA Distiller. QA Distiller was paid, but since the pandemic, they decided to open for free. So again, you can download it and you can benefit from the use of that. Yes? Okay. And another thing that is very common and very handy nowadays in our world is voice recognition. Yes, because it provides you an alternative to typing on your keyboard. It's simple. It provides a fast method of writing on your tablet, on your smartphone. Yes, you have to have a micro or a headset like this. And the moment you talk, the moment the words start appearing on your screen. It's very handy if you are doing something else, but at the same time you want to work. It's very handy if you happen to have a problem in your hand. It's very handy for everything. It saves time. And the most common ones that you can find are, for example, the Watson speech from ABM. You can have Windows 10 have this element included. You can have the Chrome. Yes. You can have the Google detection. You can have the most remarkable one that is Dragon Natural Speaking. This is not free. This is paid, but I can assure that once you get used to using this, you will never want to type again in your life. Yes, and you can also use in your phone Siri, Cortana, or whatever you have. You can talk. You can talk to the, for example, the watch. You can talk to your iPhone. You can talk to whatever you want to talk. Yeah. So then let's see some miscellaneous tools that maybe are handy for you, or maybe you don't know. These tools are, for example, Rescue Time and Exact Bench are time-saving tools. They track all the this software, what they do basically is track what you have been doing in your computer and how much time you have been wasting or not wasting in your computer. I always say they are kind of a sign, because not only they say the time you spend working, but also they say the time that you spend on the web looking at Facebook, Instagram, or just looking at pictures. So you can use them to see how productive you are during the day. Or also you can see if you are going to charge a shop instead of by words, you are going to charge the shop by the hour. You have to know how many hours you spend working. You can prove that you have been working on that project for such amount of time. So these are very useful. Another thing that are useful are word counting material. Whenever you do not know how to count a file, you can use count anything. You can count text, lines, character, words, depending on the type of job you are going to have. Web budget is the same, but if you are planning to work with web pages, if you're going to translate the web page of a company or a friend or somebody has asked you, this is very good to know how many words you're going to translate. Then somebody asked me about, let's see, somebody talked me about what about subtitling? Yes, I am not a fan of subtitling because I do not work in the subtitling industry. So what I brought here were two softwares that I know that are for free, that are very widespread and known, that everybody uses for subtitles. But of course, there are many, many more. For example, the most professional one that I know is Easy Title. Yes, I know that they are very expensive. That is the one that many companies are using because it's the most complete subtitle that are there. Then you have Subtitle Edit, for example. There are many, many, many. If you're interested in subtitling, of course you can go and revise some information. For example, the reference for me and the people I know, the reference when they talk about subtitling, they go directly to the people that we were talking with Laura before starting the conference, that are Patrick Salvador, Jorge Diaz-Cinta, Frederick Chaume, and Jose Castro-Roy. They are very good subtitlers or people that teach how to do this professionally. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can contact their books in internet, their web pages, and of course you can Google another. Here it says Camtasia. Let's record the lecture. I think subtitle edit. Very good. There it says. See, I also named that. And let's see in the chat something. Name something else. Okay. So, and finally, as I told you, apart from working in the translation or subtitling industry, you can work in the localization of games and software. If you're going to deal with games or software, instead of using a regular CAD tool, you have to use something similar to CAD tools that are, for example, SD Alpha Solo, that is part of the family of SDL Trados, and Alchemist, for example, that's another one. What they do is that many processes in the localization industry, being in a game or being in a software, need to, first of all, you need to work inside the environment of the game and inside the environment of the software. So that's why you cannot translate words on their own sometimes. So you have to get into their environment, and these tools allow you to do so. So they are designed to translate according to the specific demands of the software or game localization. Yeah. So, and of course, I don't know if you work if you work with manuals or if you work with images, but if you do so, what I do recommend is the Adobe Creative Cloud interface, because there you will find and you can pay a subscription per month, and then you can decide which tool to use and which ones not to use. And of course, there you have a lot of tools for handling OCR. You have a lot of tools to handle pictures such as Illustrator, Photoshop, Dreamweaver. You have a lot of tools. Yeah. So if you want to go over that path of translation, Adobe Creative Cloud is one of the best that you can have. Yeah. Well, what else? What else? What else? Well, let's go from software to resources. I don't know if you use many resources on the internet, but first of all, you have to choose which browser you are gonna deal with. Yes, it's the application for accessing to the World Wide Web. And depending on which one you're going to choose, you have to know that they can be extended with something that is called extensions or plugins. If you want to know, for example, the most used browser is Google Chrome. It has the 63 global market share, yes, and then it's followed by Safari. Yes, and the other one, of course, that are very used are the other ones that we named here, but the most used is Google Chrome. As I told you,
Lorena, please, Lorena.
Yes.
Lorena.
Yes,
please, may I interrupt you for just 1 second?
Yes,
regarding registration form and certificate of attendance. If there is any mistake, we will fix it. So, okay, we just posted the link for registration certificate. There is a mistake, you know, missing the S. We will fix it. So please register your name and your email correctly, and you will receive your certificate later on, the corrected version to your email. So, okay, go on, please.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
So as I was telling you, the web browsers can be used in a very wider way. Yes, you can have a lot of more things to do within your browsers if you add extensions or plugins. Yes, these extensions are depending on the browser you're using. You have a lot of extensions that you can add to your browser. And the difference between an extension is that extension is a small software that customizes the web browser. For example, interface modifications, blocking ads, cookie management, while plugins are a separate type of a module. And the main difference maybe is that extensions are source code and plugins are executable. And in many web browsers, plugins have been deprecated. They are no longer used, while extensions are the ones that are widely used. The most popular browser, as I told you, Google Chrome, have over, and listen to this, have over 100,000 extensions that you can rely on. So you can check your browser and see which extensions you are going to start using from now on. Yes. On the other side, as I told you, the resources, we have to rely a lot on our keyboard because we are translators and we work with our computer. And what you have to know is sometimes translators use the keyboard as it was a typewriter, yeah, because they don't know that it has so many keys, and maybe they don't know why there are so many keys, and they don't know what to use the keys for. So there is a phrase in Spanish that says, hay que conocer el teclado como la palma de la mano, meaning you have to know your keyboard as the palm of your hand, because it's the extension of your hand. Yeah, so you should know every key and you should know every function of the key. Yeah, so what you have to look at this picture, you have control keys, function keys, typing keys, navigation key, numeric keypad, indicator. Yes, We are not going to deal with them all. I do put them in the presentation, so when you receive this presentation, you can check things by things. But for example, you have Windows keys, and every window key combined with one of the letters of the alphabet can do a different, yes, a different order to your computer, so your computer will do what you say. Yes, this is for Windows, for example. Then you have the control shortcuts, that every time you press control, press a letter, the computer will do whatever you want the computer to do. Then, for example, you have the function keys. So whenever you press F something plus, you will have some activity, some specific activity in your computer. So remember, you have to know all the functions in the keyboard, because they will save time and they will help you be more productive, and they will help you to save a lot of movements, yes, with the mouse in your hand. And apart from that, apart from the keys, you have to know other ones, like the table. When it's the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, is whenever you want to put a symbol, a code, or a sign, and you don't know how to use it in your keyboard. So you press Alt, A-L-T, plus a number, and then you have the symbol appear in your screen. So those that are using Mac, here you can have all the shortcuts for Mac. And of course, you have the secret keyboard shortcuts, something that is not very common, but it's secret and hidden in your keyboard, or emojis if you want to be or have fun with your friends when you're typing. So this is what you have to know regarding your keyboard. And on the other hand, as I told you, the mouse also has shortcuts, because you can do things with your mouse that help you do some things in your computer. So you also have to be aware, for example, that you press Control as the wheel in your mouse, you will zoom in or zoom out a document or the screen, yeah, for example. So you should know all these things to be more productive, everything. Another thing that translators do is investigation. Yeah, we investigate a lot. We have to know a lot about how to search the web. Yes, the web is a wonderful place to find information, but sometimes it's a challenge to find that information. So things that you have to focus to search on the web are, for example, nouns, enough keywords, and be very specific about what you are looking for. So something that will help you conduct searches on the web are the Boolean codes, or the Boolean searching things, the Boolean operators that are and, or not, that are the basic ones. Of course, there are much more, but for at least you have to know this. And when they are used typed between your keywords, they can make each search more precise. For example, if you use and, here it says violence and television, and is used to narrow a search, and they will retrieve records that have both keywords. If you use or, it expands, and if you use not, it narrows the search. Yes? So remember to use Boolean searching. Apart from the Boolean searching, the ability to conduct a fast and an effective online search is a must for a translator. Yes, you have to have tactical and strategic skills, because if not, the web is like it says, a web. It's a kind of a maze, I would say. You go and go, enter, 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 and you are never able to come out. So something that I recommend to every translator is to have at hand how to use several patterns to look Google in a more profitable way. Yes, there is a guide that it's called, here I have it, It's called Google Power Search. You can find it at this link. Stefan Spencer is the writer. And what you can find in this guide is everything that will make you more productive while conducting a search. They will tell you if you are looking for a PDF, well, you should type this. If you are looking, for example, I don't know, a word in a page title, you can go with in title. If you're looking for a file type, for example, a PDF, as I told you, you can restrict the search and it will look only PDF related to what you ask. So this guide, I tell you for sure, you can ask for a free copy of the guide. You only have to pay for the delivery. So go to his page and you will find it very, very, very handy. Yes. And something that is very important for us translators, this is another, for example, another part, this is a part of the book. Yes, they tell multiple words, avoid making one word query. Case insensitive, there is no need to capitalize. I don't know, where order, how to order the words when you're making a search and all of that. Well, apart from that, you have to rely on searching tools. I don't know if you know about searching tools, but searching tools are designed for us translators to save time when searching a word. Because what they do is, if you're working in a text, you can, with your mouse, paint the word that you are looking for, and these searching tools look that word in all the places, up to 40 web pages that you previously set. For example, I can look for the word develop, and in IntelliWeb Search, it would look it in Google, it would look in the Wikipedia, it would look it in all the places that I preset. Just by painting the word with your mouse, this program lets you find that word in all the pages that you have previously set. This program is not for free, but you have the instant multi-search that is for free. It here says type once, search everywhere, because you type the word and it conducts a multi-search in all the web pages that you want. It's very handy when you're looking at vocabulary. It's very handy when you're making investigation. Yes, so dictionaries and corpus. I know that you will have very different ones than me because of the language sometimes, but they are very common ones. Lingui, Word Reference, Urban Dictionary. You can have a Diccionario de la Real Academia Española. Yes, you can have the European Yate. You can have the word finding. You can have the British National Corpus or the corpus of the Global Web Base in English. You can have, for Spanish, Ideas Afines is wonderful. The United Nations Terminology Database, and many more. Of course, it's a must for a translator to use dictionaries and to use corpus, and online you can have a lot. Yeah, you can have many resources that are extremely handy. And of course, what I mentioned here is Google Books. I don't know, but if you need to look something in Google Books, you have to know that it has more than 40 million titles in it. You can search the Internet Archives. It's a non-profitable digital library. It offers free access to books, movies, and music, and it counts with 547 billion web pages. So imagine that you can have a lot of information over there. I don't know if you are aware, but if you are conducting an investigation and or if you have to pass links to use something, you can shorten your URL, the business, you can shorten it for fun or whatever. You can personalize, yes, your URLs. And it's very handy when you are handling with a lot of translators I'm passing transfers from one site to another. I'm passing information. I'm passing web pages for researching. So I recommend it. It's very useful. Then I don't know if you are familiar with regular expressions. That is how to shorten a word or a specific order with a sequence of characters. That is, this sequence of characters will specify a research term. And Rigid Study is the perfect companion for working with this regular expression. So you can learn, you can create, you can understand, you can try, you can use, and you can do whatever with regular expressions if you download the Rigid Study. Something that is very handy for us also is Scribe. Yes, Scribe is the American ebook and audiobook subscription service that includes more than 1 million titles and hosts 60 million documents. Yeah, so 60 million documents to research. That is very, very, very useful. And two other tools that for me are useful. One is Lastpass. If you handle many sites with passwords and you don't remember your password, Lastpass is a free password manager. It stores and encrypts your passwords online. And so you can enter the interfaces without typing again the password, but it prevents from people trying to rob or do something with your password. Yeah, so it's very nice to use it. And finally, I don't know if you have ever seen about it. It's this, then that. It's an application that can be installed inside other applications, and it allows you to do whatever you want, because it says, if this, then that. So if something happens, then something else will happen. For example, if you combine these with Instagram or Twitter, for example, whenever you post a photo on Instagram, it will post it directly in Twitter, for example. If this is the order. If this, then that. Yes. So you can try. You can use it either for your applications, for example, Uber Eats. You can attach it to Uber Eats, and it says, if the food arrives, then, I don't know, send me a ring on my phone, for example. So you can use it for working, or you can use it in your regular life. So try it because it's very fun. So we are getting out of hardware, software, and resources, and we're finally arriving into recycling. What we do when we do not have any more use for something of our hardware, for, I don't know, for our phone, for our computer, for our printer, whatever you want to discard. Yes, you have to be very careful about just throwing it away, because what you have to be aware of is that you just can't throw it away. For example, a computer has toxic components, for example, mercury, lead, or sometimes valuable components such as, I don't know, copper, aluminum, or gold that can be reused. So if I have to make a suggestion, if your computer is in good stuff, but you need or you want to change it, try to consider donating, yeah? Because there are a lot of people in this world that do not have the opportunity to have a computer. So you can find a charity organization and you can make a donation of your computer or whatever device you have. It is no more usable if it's broken, and if there is no other option for this, I always recommend going to the programs. Dell, Apple, Hewlett Packard, everybody has the recycling programs. Sometimes they pick your computer and they recycle the components and they discard the toxic components in an ecological way. Or contact your city, and your city can tell you, yes, where you can dispose this material. But before doing anything to your computer, being donating, being recycling, being destroying, being whatever, back up all your data. It's something that you have to do before anything else. Wipe your hard drive, yes, meaning clear all the data that is in your processor, delete all your files, yes, and install all your programs, yes, because if not, some people that's going to use it or some people that are going to destroy it may get what you have once in your machine. So first of all, make a copy of the whole machine, then remember, wipe everything off your machine, yeah? So, and if you know any other way of recycling, we are all here and you can tell us. So, sorry if I spoke too fast. I was afraid that we will not have enough time. Now it's time for you if you want to make any questions, if you want to profundize or go deeper in any subject. So I will stop sharing the screen so I can see you face to face. And I don't know if somebody wants to make any question.
Okay, I want to thank you, Lorena, for this informative, fruitful lecture. And we may open the room for questions. Regarding the certificate of attendance, please stop asking about that. Just register. There is a mistake, missing S. We will fix it. We'll send it again. So, okay, let's start with Dr. Safa Ahmed. Hello, Dr. Safa. Okay.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you very much for your wonderful and important presentation. PowerPoint is excellent. Presentation is perfect. Thank you, Mr. Amr, as well, for organizing such important webinars. Actually, I have one question. So long as you are a practicing translator, you are in the field for some time, how accurate you find technology in legal translation or in translation in general? This is my question, and I have a request that we can have an access to your wonderful presentation.
Yes,
and thank you very much. Thank you.
Regarding technology, I use technology for every little piece of translation I have. If you mean machine translation, I do not find it accurate for legal translation at all, because legal language is very specific. It varies from country to country. It has different implications. And if you make a mistake in that, you can either make the person go to jail or free a person that should have gone to jail. So for legal translation, if you have to use technology, you can use any CAT tool, you can use whatever, but do not rely on machine translation, right? But technology, yeah, you can use it, of course.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Rashwan, please take your question specific, direct, clear cut. Yes, Mr. Rashwan.
Hello, hi. Muchas gracias, Lorena.
No,
that was really informative. Thank you very much, Ustaz Amr. I have one maybe addition, not a question actually, regarding the WeTransfer. I'm from Iraq, by the way. I live in UK now, but I'm from Iraq, and I have over 15 years experience of translation interpreting. I know that WeTransfer could be a very, very useful tool, especially for people in countries with poor internet. Coming from Iraq, I know internet is terrible in Iraq, but in UK, in my home, I have 100%, 100 megabytes per second speed, which is very fast. But in Iraq, I had about 1 or 2 megabytes per second speed. So I suggest for all our colleagues, especially those who live in Arab countries with poor internet, WeTransfer is a very easy to use and also very safe to use tool, especially for videos, photos, documents which are like 2 gigabytes, very, very, sizable, that you cannot send by email. So Lorena, thank you very much for this informative lecture, actually. I got really huge benefit from it, and I hope everybody would use all this information to their
Thank
own
you
good
so
as well.
much.
So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks a lot. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dr. Rashwan. Okay, Mr. Musa Jamal, please introduce yourself and ask your direct question, please.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Musa. I'm a student of translation. I'm preparing MA degree
I
interpreting.
cannot hear you very well,
Please
Musa.
raise your voice, please. Raise your voice.
Yes. While I've been seeing your presentation, I had the feeling that you want to send the message that traditional translators have no place in the 2021 world of translation. Is that your message? You want to say that translators nowadays have to master the
Somebody is
modern
sharing the
technology?
screen. Sorry, somebody is sharing the screen. Yeah.
So
But
Just
it's
a
not
second,
me.
I'm trying to share something, please. Just
Okay,
for
okay.
input.
Okay. Now, what you mean, Musab, if I listen to you correctly, is that there is no place for translators in the 21st century if you are not able to use at least some technology. This is what you're asking?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
That's right. I guess so. And I think that the most open your mind you are, that the most tools you know is the things that you can open your business to different branches, because if you only center on using your computer with a PDF or using your computer with a document like a Word and produce another word for delivering, okay, you will work. But if you open your mind and you can be able to deal with pictures, deal with, for example, subtitling, deal with OCR, use cut tools, and all of this, it will improve your work and it will let you get more jobs in the translation work. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Musa. Yes, Mrs. Ilham.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Lorena, for this fruitful presentation. Thank you so much. But actually, I want to ask you about the program you showed, you presented in the slide of Grammarly, the bilingual tools.
Speak up, please.
There was one with the diamond shape.
It was called Xbench.
Xbench.
Mm-hmm. Xbench is a program that lets you use with bilingual files, meaning files that come from Trados, WordPass, MOQ, or any other of these capsules. And as bilingual files, it compares the original with the translation.
The
and
target
for example,
and the source.
if you make a mistake in numbers, in punctuation, double spaces, all the things that the human eye maybe it's not able to recognize so quickly, the program will help you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Lorena, could you spell? Sorry, could you spell the name of the
I
tool?
will write it on the. I will write it.
Oh yeah, please. Thank you.
Let's see.
Shaukiya, okay. Shaukiya, please share the certificate.
I wrote it on the. I wrote it on the chat. It's called X, like an X.
Yes, I will.
Bench, like a bench where you sit.
Please make me
and remember, go for the 2.9 version because it's free.
Please,
if you go
Mr.
for the version, if you go for a version over that, you will have to pay, and it's quite expensive.
Please, Mr. Amir, can you make me co-host in order to share?
Ms. Lorena, I think it's not there. It's not in the chat, the name of the program or the application.
I put it, but
We actually can't see it. I don't know.
I will once
Yes,
there
is it
they wrote
clear?
it again.
Mr. Amir,
you
is
see
it clear? Mr.
Can
Amir?
you see the,
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lorena.
Yes.
Okay.
Is the certificate clear?
Yes, okay, we'll send it to you, Mrs. Lorena. It's clear, just for a certificate of appreciation. Okay, let's go back to questions now. Who's next? Mr. Yasser, please introduce yourself and have your direct question.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. Amir, and thank you, Ms. Lorena, for this informative information. I'm Yasser Sayed from Egypt, but I live in Saudi Arabia. My question is, my question is, do you think that machine translation will replace the human beings?
For me, not in the short time. Not in the short time. I have a postgraduate in machine translation. I made my thesis based on that, and I used a lot of machine translation engines, and I started working with programming to. Do you know that the machine translation have engines, and those engines can be for free, or you can have your own engine if you pay for an APA, and you can teach that engine to do what you want to do to improve the quality of machine translation. And even after a year of training in machine translation with my vocabulary, with my things, the conclusion in my thesis was that even though you can teach whatever you want, you cannot teach not even feelings, not even the tone of the voice, not even the situation in which you are working. So that's why the translation can be word by word, but it will lack the meaning that the human person is putting into the translation. So I guess we will be, I don't know if we will see a machine translation as good as a human translator, at least until we are not here longer in this world. So this is my point of view. It's very useful and it's very handy for certain things, but it will not replace the human being. I don't know if that's the answer to your question. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course,
okay.
yes.
I thought
we can.
I thought I got muted again. Sorry.
It's clear. We have a question from Mr. N.A. I don't know, he wrote his initials only. Could you please introduce yourself, N.A.?
Yeah, I am Nassim Amin. I am from Yemen, a translator and MA student in translation. Thank you for this lecture. And I know certificate is very important, but it is the knowledge which we get it from this lecture is more important than the certificate. This is first of all. The second thing which I would like to share with you is my studying in translation department in Eb city in Yemen. Due to the war, we studied CAT tools or machine translation theoretically without even using a computer at class. But due to my passion in that field, I do my thesis in this specific topic. I like CAT tools, and I think one day all the translators cannot translate without using CAT tools. Thank you.
Yeah, CAT tools are very handy for translation. But as I say, do not confuse CAT tools with machine translation, sorry, because in CAT tools, we are still being part of the translation. While in machine translation, of course, the machine is doing the work for us. So that's why I see that CAT tools are very handy, because you translate once and you reuse it many often, the same translation, especially if you work in the same field every day.
Yeah, you are right. But are they related? For example, if I do my thesis in CAT tools, is it okay if I relate it and compare it with the machine translation, or it's not to depend on CAT tools like
Yes,
Trados,
because the CAT tools already come, some CAT tools already come with the machine translation of their own. For example, Trados comes with Language Cloud. Language Cloud is the engine that they developed for using machine translation inside Trados. But for that, you have to know that it's not very good unless you train your engine translation things, because if not, they will produce the words that you don't want, or they will make a mess, or they will keep the things in a way that it's not normal when you are reading. You can tell that it's not it's not a human translation. So you can use it, but you have to edit it. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, next question from Marwan Shatter, please.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Hola, doctora Lorena, todo amor y respeto. Argentina, yeah, marveloso. The question is because at the beginner translator, how can I use CAT tools at the beginner?
I always say this for people. If you are a geek of translation, or if you are a geek in your life, you just go to the SDL website. You can download the tutorial and you can try to learn it by yourself. If you're not that geek, or if you're not that used to doing or dealing with technology, the best way to start using CAT tools is to make a course with a person that knows what's doing, a certified person that can teach you, because this is the best way that you can ask questions and somebody at the same time you're asking the question can answer it. Because tutorials are very nice, but you cannot ask any question to anybody. So try the first, and if it doesn't work, go for the second one. Go for a person that is capable of teaching you the thing that you want to know.
Yeah, more thanks. I will do that.
Okay, next question by Hannah Abbas. Please ask away, Ms. Hannah.
مساء الخير. Hello.
Hello.
مساء الخير.
Thank you for this session. It was very, very interesting. Thank you for the information you provide. Currently, I do a research about the role of emotional intelligence in the process of understanding during the interpretation of remotes. I wish you to tell me about your experience in using the neuro translation systems such as SDL Trados or Microsoft any programs that you had used using the neuro translation systems.
Okay.
It's a kind of machine translation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have used, it's a program that it's called GT4T. Yeah, it's written G like in gate, T like in translation, 4 like number 4, and T again. GT4T. It's a program of machine translation, but it has the neural translation from default or for Google neural translation, but it's not, how can I explain? It's not an engine that is online, so it has no problem with confidentiality, provided you pay for the API of the neural translation engine and you own that engine. So you can train that engine to do or to translate the way you like, or more or less the way you like. And it's very handy. It's very useful.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information you provide. But really, I asked about a program for interpretation. Do you experience any programs that use neural translation systems in interpretation?
In what? Sorry?
Interpretation.
No,
Oral translation.
No. I have never used that for interpreting.
Yes,
I only use it for translation, not for interpreting.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Nazik. Okay, thank you, Hannah. Let's have the question of Dr. Nazik. She is a professor at Saudi University. She is originally from Sudan. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Nazik.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon or good night, Mrs. Lorena and Mr. Amir. I'm so happy to have this very interesting and fruitful and informative presentation from you, Miss Lorena. And really, thank you very much. We have a lot of information today. And we hope that to have you in many other sessions and to have collaboration with your association and our Arab translators.
Of course.
Okay. We have finished CAT tools workshop, and we have done a lot of work there. My question is that I want you just to elaborate on using Trados and MemoQ. Which is better for us as translators, and what is how can it be easier for us to use both of them? Thank you.
I work in my association. I am the head of the Technological Resources Committee, and we always have the same debate because there are translators using WordFast, there are translators using MemoQ, and there are translators using Trados. The three of them for me are perfect. They work in similar ways, but my heart is with Trados. So if you ask me which one is better, from my point of view, Trados is the one that has it all. But if, I don't know, tomorrow you ask a colleague of mine that is a very friend of mine, she will tell WordFast because she considers WordFast more friendly, she says, because it can interact with Mac, it can interact with Windows, while Trados can only interact in the Windows environment. But at the same time, Trados is the oldest the CAT tool that I don't know if you know the story, but SDL was a company, Trados was another company. Trados has been going on the market since 1998. So imagine the years that Trados has been, it was the first one that appeared. And one day SDL discovered that Trados was taking all the market and decided to buy it. And from that moment on, they became SDL Trados. And for me, Trados is the best one. But I guess that's a very personal pick. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Muhammad Saafin, he is a translator from Australia. What's your question, please?
Hi, good evening. It was really very informative session. But I'd like to ask, I think she said that there are some CAT tools that are free. So could she just tell us what are these ones? Because I've never used them, although I've learned this yes.
Yes, the CAT tools that are free, you have to be careful if you're gonna use them online. First of all, like MemSource or I don't know, Acros, and there are so many others, because all the information that you put on the cloud, if it is confidential, you have to be careful. But for example, Omega T, it's a program, it's a very basic program that you can download for free and use for free. And so it's basic, but it's useful. So if you need something for free, go ahead and try MemoQ. If you dare, you can also download or you can use WordFast anywhere that is for free. You can translate until 500 units of translation, meaning 500 sentences of translation for free. And then you have to create a new memory and do it again until 500 lines, but you can use it for free. It's called WordPass Anywhere. And then you have the opportunity to use Trados, MemoQ, or WordPass for free for a month if you want to try which is better for you. You download the programs and use it for free for a month. Yeah,
Can you just write it down? Can you just write them down?
Sorry?
Can you just write them down on the chat?
Yeah, yeah, I can. It's called, the ones that are online are MemSource and Acros. I wrote them there. The ones that are free, it's called Omega Text. Yes, this is for free. You can install in your machine, and voila, you can work for free.
Thank you very much.
Okay, is there anybody, do you have any questions for Mrs. Lorena? Okay, Faisal. Okay. هذا عنده سؤال يا اخوان؟ Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Amir. Thank you. I just wanted to ask, well, Lorena, about the machine translation. That I just wanted to ask about what is the way that feeding the machine translation. Do the people of the machine translation take benefit from the what do you call it, cat tools or something like that?
No, you have to separate them. Cat tools are one thing, machine translation is another one. In the cat tools, the translator works. In the machine translation, the machine works. If you combine them, and if you use them combined, you have to be careful what machine translation engine you are using. Because if you're using an engine that is a common engine like Google Translate, for example, the benefit of that will be Google. You will not get a benefit because you will be increasing Google information, right? But if you combine your cat tool with a machine translation that is of your property, meaning the engine that you pay, yes, it's called API, I don't know if you know that. You can buy the API from the machine translation engine, so the benefit will be for you. You will not be sharing that information with anybody.
Mm-hmm. So they are not linked actually between...
you can link them, but it's not linked per se.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Amani, what's your question? Yes, please. No, Amani.
Yes, you can go ahead, Amani.
I want to ask short question.
Ask one. Let's first make your question direct, Amani, please.
To ask about the better cat tools in medical translation. Just name.
But the cat tools are not for a specific field of translation. You can use a cat tool even to translate an email. I don't know. Cat tools depend on the purpose you want to use. For example, in medical translation, you can create a memory. It's called medical translation, and everything related to medicine, you will translate using that memory. So you will reuse vocabulary, you will reuse sentences, but then if one day you receive a work about, I don't know, engineering, you create a memory named engineering and use the same cat tool and start working in engineering. It does not, cat tools are not related to any field of translation. because it's a tool that helps you translate, nothing more than that.
Okay, Mr. Muhammad Hashim, go ahead, please. Yes, Mr. Muhammad Hashim, go ahead. Okay,
Hola, ¿me escuchas?
Sí.
Bueno, muchas gracias, profesora, por tu charla. Ha sido muy interesante para nosotros. Y de verdad no tengo una pregunta, pero tengo una intervención. Como sabemos, la traducción humana es aquella realizada por el ser humano en una forma escrita u oral. Y el proceso de traducción de un lenguaje humano a otro no es una tarea fácil, puesto que el lenguaje humano es un sistema lingüístico muy complicado. Junto a la traducción humana ha surgido otro tipo de la traducción gracias a la tecnología, que es la traducción automática. Es que se realiza a través de los programas del ordenador. Y por esta traducción, cada uno de nosotros puede traducir cualquier texto de lengua a otra. Por eso, decimos decir gracias a la tecnología por la traducción automática. Y muchísimas gracias por tu charla.
No, no, ¿por qué? I translate for those that are saying please in English because they cannot understand. He's saying that he thanking the machine translation because machine translation can help a lot. And it's true because if you're going to do a professional work, a professional job, do not use machine translation. But for example, if you need to communicate with a person and you don't know how to say something, you don't know how to talk to that person, machine translation can help. Even the machine translation that comes in our phones, that you can ask something in your phone and it translates, and so the other person can understand. So machine translation helps communication, not for professional work, but a lot for communication itself.
Bueno, perfecto. Muchas gracias.
Okay, Dr. Ali Al-Idrisi, you raised your hand. Are you still having a question to ask?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Ali Al-Idrisi is a professor at Qatar University. He's originally from Morocco, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Amir. Thank you, Lorena, for the interesting talk. I really learned a lot.
Thank you.
My question, I mean, it's not a question, but I just wanted to express a concern, and I don't know if you would share that concern about relying heavily on CAT tools when you translate, but especially when you translate in certain areas. I'm thinking, for example, of literary translation.
That's right, poetry, for example.
Yeah,
no point.
Exactly. So, and I can't help but think of CAT tools, something like, we rely too much. If you rely too much on autocorrect, on your word processor, so you might end up losing your orthographic skills with time.
That's right.
So yeah, and I'm happy. I think you already answered my question. So you agree.
In my fields of expertise, CAT tools are essential because I am all the time dealing with industry manuals and repetitive work, repetitive things in engineering manuals for people assembling and disassembling machines and all of that. That if I have to deal with a piece of poetry, no point of using a CAT tool. You have to work like if you were working with a piece of a pen and a piece of paper. You have to be creative. You have to be totally different.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Salah. Yes, Salah. Yes, go ahead. Please unmute yourself, Salah.
Yes, I asked him to unmute also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, especially for Mrs. Lorena for this fruitful session and interesting subject about the machines which we use in translation or interpretation. And thanks for and special thanking for Dr. Amr for preparing this session. And I want to ask Mrs. Lorena a question about using the all the machines which you have mentioned in this session. We use it just for helping in translation and interpretation, or just we can do something. We can intervene by the human to do this job.
What I mean is I always rely on myself first before the machines, because the brain is me. Yeah, I am the one producing the translation. Machines are there to help me. So I rely on them. Yeah, I rely on them because they help, they improve my work, they let me produce more per day than if I not, imagine the difference of when we were working just, as I told you, with a piece of paper and writing. Then you went to the process of using a typewriter to write. Then you went to a process of using a computer, and every evolution helped you improve in time. But always rely on this. Your brain is the first thing. The machine is there to help.
That's what I was going to say in my question. I focus on the using my mind. Using my mind, but the engines which you had mentioned just for helping me to do that. When I want to search something or to do something or to transfer something from source language to the target language, I need to use my mind.
That's right.
To use my knowledge to how to transfer that text, for example, or this sentence from this language to another language. This is a difficult way to do that. If difficult way to do that, if I depend just on machine.
That's right.
Yeah, to use it in this case, I need to do my best. I need to do something by myself to check my translation or my interpretation from this text to transfer it. Then I use my mind to check what I want to get, what I want to transfer to other people's to understand my translation, because we need to know something about something about the grammar of this language to another language. For example, if I want to translate from Russian language to English language, this is a difficult way to do that, to do this job, because there is different in there's difference in vocabularies, there is difference in grammatical structures. I need to organize my sentences to be clear for the reader, to be clear for the because sometimes I work in the company as a translator, or I work as a lecturer at university, so I need to improve my translation. I don't depend just on the engines or machines.
No. I do not depend, as I told you, I do not depend on the engines of machine translation. What I mean is that I do my work thinking with my brain, translating me. But for example, when reviewing my work, it's very good to have something that helps you, because sometimes you can be very proficient in a language, but it's not your mother tongue. And a dictionary in your mother tongue, or somebody revising something, can tell you your sentence is perfect, but instead of using the preposition in, that verb carries the preposition on. So if you have a program that can help you discover that mistake, why don't you use it? This is what I mean.
Yeah, there was the question from our friend who asked you about the poetry, how to transfer the literary translation.
Poetry, you can use resources in the internet to look for vocabulary. You can use, I don't know, to use thesaurus in order to discover synonyms, antonyms, but you have to use your brain to translate. You don't depend on the machine for translation. You depend on machines and you depend on software to help, nothing else.
As I think, and according to my experience for 12 years in translation, we need to give the percentage to our, more than to the machine. That's what I want to say. We use our mind more than the machine.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, I'm personally speaking, let me, express my point of view. Translators in general, they tend not to admit that they are using machine translation. Yeah, look, I was using, because they don't want to feel embarrassed, or I recommend using machine translation. I was translating a legal text maybe a month ago. It's about a legal American Constitution. Believe me, I was using Bingo, and I was so astonished, fascinated about the results. I can say that the accuracy with that text, it was almost 90%, but it needs to be used by very professional translators who can, who can fix the text. But, a machine translation can help a lot, even professional translators. It was 300 pages. The accuracy was almost perfect. Okay, there are some, but it helped me a lot. I don't know.
That's the new way. It's called post-editing, and it's used when a company pre-translates with machine translation and send the job to the translation for the translation to be put into a more professional way. It's called post-editing, and it's one of the new ways in which companies are working.
Okay, okay. Yes, Sarah. Okay, yes, Sarah, she was raising. Please introduce yourself and.
Yeah. Hi, how are you, everybody? Thanks for useful information, Lorena. My question is still the human translation.
Sorry?
It's still human translation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and now it's a human that software alone can deliver the final translation. At the most, you get it to some pieces of the text put together. What does it mean? It is useful. It's such as the form.
I hear you very badly. It's all cut. I don't know it's me or I cannot hear you properly.
What's your question, Sarah? Please make it clear. Let's ask, yes.
Yeah, do you dispense with human? It is still human translation in future.
Okay, let's.
Clear?
Can you, I don't know, because I don't know if it's me that I cannot hear her, or if you hear her, can you say what she said?
Let's move to the next, I couldn't even understand her question.
Sorry,
yes,
sorry.
Mr. Ali Laboudi, what's your question, please?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Lorena, for this these wonderful information that you are giving us. I have two questions. My first question would be, since I'm only starting recently to work in the translation business as a freelance translator, the hardest part that I found was how to get glossaries to work with.
Okay.
Yes, I was wondering where can I find a site or as a reference to upload glossaries, because you can find them put by others, but you can't download them. You just find them there. So
yeah,
do I have to do it manually? Yes.
No, there are, for example, if you go to the Yate translation site, or if you go to the, which was the other one, there are ways and there are programs that are called jar extractors or vocabulary extractors that let you download glossaries. If you go to the Yate,
can you spell it, please?
Yeah, I will write it. It's IATE. It's the biggest data of the United Nations. You can find anything, and it has glossaries specific in every source. For example, economics, law, environment, whatever you need. And and they explain how to download that material.
Okay, and my second question would be just to get your opinion on how my process is. So I heard you said that you should never use machine translation professionally. I think what you meant by that was pure machine translation.
That's right. That's right. This is what I meant. Meaning
Great.
not to use. You can use machine translation provided you're going to edit it if you want to have a professional work done.
Like you said with post-editing.
That's right, post-editing.
Okay, so basically I get the file, I put it on the machine translator, usually Yandex or Microsoft translators, and then I post-edit it after it. So it has a human touch.
That's right.
Yeah. Is
But
this,
as I told you before, if you're gonna use Google Translate, or if you're gonna use if you're gonna use anything that is open in the cloud, be careful, because everything you put there, the only thing that does is increase Google's money and not you.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, let's have the last question, I think. Yes, Mr. Yasser, I think you did ask before, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. My question for Ms. Lorena, when I used Tradus today, I found that the remaining untranslated segments confirm it suddenly. How can I solve this problem? Because I tried too much, but I can't.
You mean that you left one segment without translation? You press Control Enter and they confirm them all?
Sorry, I mean that when I translate maybe 5 or 6 segments, and I found that the remaining segments that I didn't translate confirm it suddenly without translation.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird, but you can undo that thing. If you select all the segments that have been confirmed without your authorization, and you click your right button of the mouse, you will find an option that can let you change the way that the segment is placed. You can come back to the way it was previous confirmation.
But I can do this after I shut down my device, my laptop, or not?
Sorry?
I shut down my laptop, but if I open Tradus again,
you can open your laptop tomorrow. You go to the segments that are confirmed without your authorization. You mark them all. Click the right button of your mouse, and you can you will look at one of the options will say change the segment, and you can put it edit, confirm, reject, whatever you want.
Yeah. How can I make this all of this shadowed? Can I choose all the untranslated segments? How can I do this?
you step with your mouse on the first segment, you paint all the segments with the mouse and pressing Control in your key, and they will mark all. And then you press the left button of your mouse and you will find the option.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, hope we can have some questions from our non-Arab counterparts or colleagues. Carmen, Mr. Giambolo. Hello, Mr. Giambolo.
بتكلمي.
Hello, Mr. Giambolo.
Mute yourself.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
This is very interesting for me, especially the translation by machines is not very much used here in Mexico yet. It's just beginning. So I would like to learn much more about it. And thank you very much, Lorena, for this very interesting lecture so that we can all profit about it. Thank you.
Many thanks. If you want to learn more about machine translation, I recommend you to enter into shops or some papers that the University of Wolverhampton in the UK, it's Wolverhampton, sorry, Wolverhampton in the UK, especially Professor Kevin Losner. They are very updated in machine translation. They have a postgraduate there, and it's wonderful.
Thank you very much. I'll check it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, any more questions from Linda, Carmen? Okay, we hope to hear our colleagues from other parts of the world. Okay. The floor is yours. You know, I don't have. Shall we have more questions or shall we stop here, Lorena? The decision is yours now.
Yeah, I have a class in half an hour because here is still in the middle of the day, while for you it's almost time to go and
no, it's
sleep.
okay. You know, there are still many people interested, but you know, I hope they.
So what
can
I
interact.
recommend, what I can do is, as I told you in my presentation, you have my mail. If you have any questions after or tomorrow, maybe you say, oh, why didn't I ask about this or that? You can send me an email. You can contact me via Instagram or Facebook, and we will chat, we will discuss, and we can share different opinions. We can share whatever you need. And I try to be as much as available as I can.
Okay, just send it to me via WhatsApp or email. I will share it to our members and even worldwide. So
okay, I will send you the PowerPoint presentation for you to spread it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's have it as Salah suggested. Let's have it as an open discussion. You can talk, interact with Mrs. Lorena. So you have half an hour left. So.
Yeah, but maybe she wants to get ready for the class.
That's okay. This is just for suggestion. I think she is tired now, and she spoke more about this subject. And I suggest to be open discussion because it is interesting session, and we need to discuss each other what's a benefit for all.
I just want to make a comment about advice for everyone.
Just only the suggestion for that.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, for machine translation, I'm asking people not to rely always on the machine translation. Rather than that, they have to go to the websites of the especially when they're translating the names. For instance, like the names of the colleges or universities. Sometimes they call it the faculty, sometimes the college. Even in Australia, we have the strange thing. The schools, they call them colleges, while the university, they call them schools. So they have to go to the websites of the thing, I mean, the university, just to see what are the names that they are using, even for ministers, like Minister of Foreign Affairs or Foreign Ministry or other names. So they have to go, whenever they do translation, they should not rely on Google or machine translation. They have to go to the websites of these institutions or places. Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, is there any question?
That's all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Salah, you can continue. Mr. Salah, unmute yourself, please.
Just, I think Mrs. Lorena, she is tired because she actually had spoken so many about this lecture, and it was a fruitful and interesting lecture. And
Yes.
just we need I'm focusing on something in this and using the machine to transfer the text or the sentence. When I was a resident in Russia, I learned the Russian language. When I was beginner in Russian language to learn it, there are so many students with us, and there is one student tried to transfer the word from Russian to Arabic language. Then this word, it was the sweets, SWEETS, sweets. She tried to transfer this word to Arabic language. She got the television equal this word. Sweet equal television, and it is a different synonym for that. So I'm asking again, Mrs. Lorena, this question. We need to do this job by ourselves to focus on what we translate, what we transfer, the sentence or the text, depend upon us, not depend upon machine. The question to be asked now, for example, who provide the machine by this all information, the vocabularies, the grammar, everything else concerned with language? Who provide these machines? Of course, the human who provide these machines by all these information. As I spoke by evidence, David Crystal, as you know, he repeats this phrase. The machines it getting better at future. Yeah, it's getting better at future.
Yes. What I told you before is, of course, I use machine translation only because I did a thesis on that. And in my everyday, I do not use machine translation. So far I have been working very little with post editing. So, but I did use machine translation for 1 year when preparing my thesis to see what points was in favor, what points was against. And I can assure that, as Mr. Ahmed said before, there are texts that with machine translation comes perfect because they have the background already charged in the engine, because the engine are provided by human previous translation. So that's the point. The better the things that are charged into an engine, the more the engine can provide a more professional translation. So there are topics that if you put simple sentences, for example, as in a manual where you have to just give orders that do not touch this, please put this there, please open this, please do that, please turn the machine, please open the machine. Every simple sentence in a manual, for example, you pass it through machine translation and you will have an almost perfect translation. But when you have to develop something more complex, like poetry, or like things that carry emotion, Even if you're translating, I don't know, a sentence or a judicial proceeding or something related to justice that you have to put the context, you have to put the color of the voice, you have to put the color of the thinking and everything. Of course, machine translation will not provide a perfect translation. But the point was that for me, I am not talking about technology only as machine translation. I'm talking about technology on relying on software that can help you improve your work apart from machine translation. All the software I mentioned, I never mentioned machine translation in the whole presentation, because what I want to make your mind open is in a way that you can benefit from the use of technology. Then how you use the technology is a question of every person. Some people will love machine translation, some people will hate it. And so that's I think that's a personal choice.
No, we don't hate that, but it is modern way to use it in our translation, as I think. As I had studied the machine, this subject, as I had studied the machine translation in my MA degree in 2015, I had studied this subject. There is something to do. There is rules. We depend on rules to transfer the text. Then we make for the text after the transferring the text. We need to do editing, then editing, then post editing for the text to get the correct text or exact text to be clear for all to understand it. This is way depend on the translator to be professional in this way, to how to change the structure of the sentence, especially in literary translation, in poetry, and something like that. That is what I want to say. It is modern way and useful, of course.
Okay, okay. I wanna. I don't know why translators they keep talking about accuracy, honesty, integrity. You have to do your job perfectly, whether you are using a human translation or machine translation. Keep in mind these, I don't know, Google, for example, Bingo, these are giant companies. They are being developed, those machines are fed by translators. I can use it for the benefit, to save time sometimes, but I don't have to rely on them completely. But they are very helpful tools for me as a translator. Anybody has to do his job perfectly, whether you use, you are doing a human translation or machine translation. But why translators, they keep talking about accuracy, integrity?
But Mr. Amir,
yes, sir.
I don't think translator trainers and teachers would agree with that, because I mean, if you train someone a student to become a translator, you really want to make sure that they can do the translation themselves before they can eventually or ultimately rely on maybe seek some help to save time, etc. By using machine translation. But I think what the presentation today is about is really using the tools, technological tools that you as a translator can use, right? Just to help you, the memory that you talked about, the different tools that you can use to search for terms, for glossaries, but asking a machine to feed a text into a machine and then gets you a text, I think there is always some risk in that, and maybe some people would view that as an unethical or like a lack of integrity and so on.
I agree with you. I don't recommend fresh or new graduates, but if you are a very professional translator, you can see if it can help, but not, they don't help all the time. I agree with you, but, they can be used in certain cases, circumstances, text, etc. Yes, doctor, keep on.
Yes, but Dr. Amr, we need to do this our job by ourselves. As I'm now a linguistic lecturer at university, and I had studied this subject to my students in university in third stage and in fourth stage. I depend upon books, textbook to use that this job, and if I depend all my job and if I recommend my students to do this job just in machine, we need to get the exact meaning for the sentence, exact meaning, why we search about the synonyms, synonyms words and similarity words to get the exact meaning when we want to translate. This is for freshmen. When they want to translate the sentence, for example, from source language to the target language, it is difficult for them to transfer that. I know you spoke just about the professional. Of course, the professional person who can do this job just by hearing or by reading, who know everything to do this job. But I mean about you want to do this job for freshmen at the college or institute to give them the information how to do as beginners in this job. Of course, they are beginners. They cannot do this job by themselves.
They cannot judge a machine translation if they are, I know you have to train your students, to be professional. The more they practice, the more they read, the better they become, I believe, so I agree with you. But in general, I believe, most translators, they do use machine translation. Believe me, I was not using it for 20 years, but I was testing it maybe 2-3 months ago, and I was, surprised about the outcome. I don't know. Maybe it was very helpful in that text, but sometimes it doesn't help, the other text.
But you are
Mr. Amr,
you are experienced, and you are professional, and you have so many.
Yeah, I can tell, I can judge, I can say this is wrong, this is correct, this is better. It's for me, okay. But
well, actually,
I agree with Mr. Amr.
Mr. Amr summarized it all when he said that you need to practice. As much as you practice, you grasp and you know, and you can tell if your translation is correct or incorrect. This is what it depends on, I believe. This is number one. Number two, Dr. Salah, you already mentioned the answer in your own question when you first started by asking who prevented this, who gives the information to, for example, to Google, and you answered it. It's a human. So at the very end, we need to humanize, for example, our translation. We need to localize it. I am with the translation, machine translation, and what Ms. Lorena has tried to show us that there is a great difference between machine translation on the one hand, and for example, the CAT tools on the other. But whatever you depend on, you need to humanize your translation.
Well, I do have something also as well to add, particularly regarding what Mr. Salah has said about who feeds information to machines. Actually, the machine learns, and that was a stage before artificial intelligence when we got into the development of deep learning and big translation memories. And the development in neural networks have developed actually translation, and it's not only taking information from human, it learns, the machine learns. So we expect in the future that the machine will do the job, not as a translator, but as close as the translation itself, because it learns itself. We feed it once and that's it. Then it learns itself.
So I agree with the doctor. Yeah, I agree with the speech now, as a speaker now, that if you, as Mr. Amir said also, that if you are a good editor and proofreader, you can benefit the most from machine translation.
Yeah, Mr. Yasser, that what I spoke about it. I spoke about the refresh student in the college or an institute, or you have a group you want to do this this job or this course for them, to give them the course in translation, for example. You have rules to do that. You have rules to do that. But if you are a professional in this job, you do this job by yourself. I know Mrs. Lorena, she had spoken about another thing. There are so many things there about the technology and about the software, to use the software. This is the separate part from machine translation. I know that.
But Dr. Salah,
of course we brave our students, we brave our trainers to do this job, to communicate, to do everything, brave them about technology, brave them to use the machine translation, brave them to use the dictionaries, electronic dictionaries, not dictionaries, not textbook like that. For example, we don't use, for example, like that books. We need to do electronic books, for example, and everything. I'm linguistic lecturer at university. I teach my student Russian language and I teach my student English language now. And I have 13 years from my experience in this field, linguistic, as linguist. Now, as linguist, I know something about that. We brave now. We use so many in this situation, which we have the situation of coronavirus. We have so many problems now. We have lockdown now, and we stay home and to give lectures during internet. Let us to say about the internet. It is also the machine to the medium between the teacher and the students to do this job. How to do this job and how to transfer the information for your students in the correct way. As I said, and as Mrs. Lorena explained for us, so many tools and so many technologies to use them. It is better, of course, but the human, he is the first one who do that.
Yeah, I think the point is clear, Dr.
This is what we wanted to focus on it.
Yeah, Dr. Salah, yes, I agree with you, Dr. Salah, but I think that also machine translation is among the technologies that you use. And I think that if you train yourself now to edit and proofread the machine translation, that is the good job for in the future. Because I asked Professor Lorena that what our role as a human being.
No, Mr. Yasser, Mr. Yasser, the scientific evidence which I want to say for you, you know David Crystal, this is the author of all the English books for us, and we had read by his book now. He said the famous phrase and the famous sentence about the technology and machine translation. He said it is getting better at future. That means it is still now. There is no development in machine to do that without the human. Human is everything in this job.
Dr. Salah, please. So I think that in the future, our role as translators will be editor and proofreader. So if you train yourself now, you will get a better job in the future, because this is the only job as translators in the future.
now in this situation, I have a project now. I want to translate the book Applied Linguistics for the author Guy Cook. I'm amazing how to do which tools I will translate by myself, or I depend upon the machine translation. For example, the any electronic dictionary which I use to help me to get the exact translation for my project, my job, because I want to do this translation and to give this project or this work which I want to give to my students or to the people who need that project. But if I depend just on machine to give me the exact translation, I know something about translation. The translator, the translator, the person, the human, if he make mistake, if the person, for example, translator in a company, and there are so many accounts between the contractors, and he want to transfer the numbers, the profit, for example, or something like that. If he does mistake, if he does mistake by this job, depend upon the machine to do that, or depend upon himself to do that?
I think it's 3 minutes to the hour, Dr. Lorena.
I was trying to tell you, because in 3 minutes I start another class, and I would like to say goodbye to everybody and to thank you everybody before leaving. And as I told you before,
Professor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lorena.
As I told you before, you will have my presentation delivered. And if you need anything else, you can contact me by mail also. I am willing to be seeing you in any other courses given by you, or given by me, or given by everybody. And if you want also, you can check our page, that is www Translators. I will write it on the chat.
Yeah, it was a beautiful session and gathering.
I wrote it on the chat. Let's see if it goes. I wrote it on the chat, but it does not go. Let's see now. Yeah.
Do to everyone.
It's www.traductores.org.ar. This is the web page of our association.
Write it to everyone, Lorena.
Yeah, I wrote it to everyone, but it's not. Can you see it? Can you see it now? I wrote it again.
Okay.
Can you write it please in the chat box?
I wrote it in the chat box. Yeah, it's already there. And there you will see one of the tags that it's called Capacitación. It's where all the courses are given in our association. Generally, of course, they are given in Spanish. Some of them are given in English. And you will have all sorts of training in everything, different things. You will find interpreting, you will find Spanish, you will have technology, you will have medicine, you will have even gas, oil, engineering. We specify.
Great,
so
great.
Whenever you want, you are more than welcome.
Yes, thank you. So the email is in the chat box. You can take it.
That is the webpage of our organization. My mail will be in the presentation. So if you need anything in the presentation, you will have my mail. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you. It has been very nice.
Thank you for
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Lorena, thank you everybody.
Thank you so much.
A very beautiful
very interesting
and gathering, and hope we can see you in the future, or
for sure.
Thank you very much. It was really indeed a very beautiful lecture. Thank you, Lorena. Thank you, Dr. Amir.
We send our greetings to Argentinian translators. Tell them that we are ready for civilizational engagement.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
All presentation.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Madam
Goodbye.
Shawqiya.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please remember to send us
Thank
our certificates, please.
Please.
Okay, we'll send you the
Yes.
certificates.
We
We'll
are
make sure
waiting.
that
Yeah,
there is no mistake, and we'll send you everything. Don't worry, you know, we are sorry
Okay.
for that, but we'll fix that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Dr. Amir.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
your
very
effort.
much.
Thank you. Goodbye.